with Deputy Shane Cassells. Thank you.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and it is to ask the Minister for Agriculture the total number of persons in County Meath that have not received 85% of their total 2016 payments under GLAS 1, GLAS 2 and AEOS, the reason for the delay, and if you will make a statement on the matter.
Under the European Union regulations, governing the Green Low Carbon Agri-Environment Scheme and the Agri-Environmental Options Scheme, a comprehensive administrative check, including cross-checks with the Land Parcel Identification System, must be completed before any payment can issue. My department, as the accredited paying agency, must ensure that before payment issues, everything is in an application that can be checked is checked as required under the regulations. Therefore, payments can only issue when all the required validation checks have been successfully passed. As issues with outstanding GLAS cases are resolved, they are being paid in weekly instalments. In relation to 2016 payments under AEOS, the previous agri-environmental scheme, just over 8,600 AEOS participants were due a payment. AEOS 2 participants completed their 5-year contracts on the 31st of December 2016. Under the EU regulations governing this scheme and all other area-based payment schemes, a full check, including cross-checks, with the Land Parcel Identification System must take place before the final payment can issue. As all AEOS 2 participants will be receiving their final payment under the scheme, rechecks and payments made for all scheme years must be completed before final payment can be processed. This is the same procedure as applied to AEOS 1 participants finishing in that scheme. To date, AEOS 2016 payments amounting to over 22 million have issued. The remaining cases are currently being checked, and payments will continue to issue on an ongoing weekly basis as these cases are cleared. A total of 83 farmers in County Meath were due 2016 payments in AEOS, of which 68 have been paid and 15 are awaiting payment. 2016 payments represent the first full year of payment under GLAS. At the end of December 2016, there were approximately 37,500 active participants in the GLAS scheme, of which 7,400, or over 71%, received payments valued at over 97 million, representing 85% of their 2016 payment. As issues with outstanding GLAS cases are resolved, they are being paid in weekly payment runs. Further payments are issuing on a weekly basis, with payments valued at over 110 million now issued and over 84% of participants now paid. Further payments are issuing on a weekly basis.
Thanks, Minister.
Just I'll give the Deputy the figures in Meath. The current position is that 66 farmers in GLAS 1 and 39 farmers in GLAS 2 have yet to receive their payments, and their applications continue to be processed.
Thanks for that, Minister. Deputy.
Thanks very much, Cathaoirleach, and I want to welcome the statement by the Minister and the figures provided as well, and indeed the statement that he provided earlier to Deputy Brown in the context of this as well. But can I ask, why there wasn't an effective system in place before this point in time, given the frustration felt by farmers? It was agreed between the farming organisations and the Department that up to 75% of payments would commence in the third week of October, with the balance of the payments being made in mid-December. And we saw reported earlier in the Farming Independent this week that farmers still waiting on payments may have to wait until midsummer. And if that's the case, some farmers will have waited for a total of 7 months in total. Now, I've met many farmers in Meath, my constituency office, over the past few months, and I see Deputy Burke had a question down earlier on the paper as well, and part of his county in North Westmeath, the Cassells region, comes into my constituency as well, and they have had great difficulty making contact with the department to query the reasons for the delay with the payments. Now, I did notice that you said that there would be no issues in terms of overtime or whatever in dealing and prioritising this, but I would ask that would be taken with a greater sense of urgency, and what is being done specifically in that respect.
Minister True.
I'd like to thank Deputy Cassells for his understanding, but I appreciate the imperative that he lays down as well in terms of getting these payments out as quickly as possible. I mean, GLAS is probably the most complicated of schemes. There are over 30 separate actions, menu of options available to farmers under the scheme. And when you cross-reference those actions to their basic payment application and the individual plots therein and the actions, it does give rise to a complicated scenario that has given rise to difficulty. I mean, the truth is, in December, when we pressed the pay button, we had hoped that everybody would be paid and had financial provision made for that. Unfortunately, a substantial number, as the record shows, weren't, and we continue to work through all of those. The reality is, we've had to eyeball every individual one of those and find out what specifically is it. Is it a fundamental problem back to their basic payment application? Is it a question of plots that are split and actions that on plots that aren't correlating? or does it go back to an error
Thanks,
in our own processing? It's complicated,
Okay.
but I do assure you that it has the necessary urgency. I can't specifically give a time, but I assure you that we're making every effort to get these payments out as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy.
Just to thank the Minister for the candid nature of his response and even that information in terms of outlining that complexity, because the majority cases of the farmers that I've been dealing with in Ballivor and Castle Pollard that are coming into me, it is in terms of the access of information and the frustration that they're feeling in that respect, because they've had to make financial adjustments because they had money earmarked for projects on their farms. Those projects would have increased productivity and profits, but instead this finance had to be put into basic day-to-day bills and running of the farms, which the Minister and his colleagues are very, very well aware of. And I just would state that, if I stated already, many farms, particularly in disadvantaged areas, have very low margins to work with, and these delays are not fair on them or indeed their families.
Deputy McConalogue.
We've discussed this issue in the chamber and the floor here on a number of occasions, and I just have to repeat, Minister, it's absolutely unacceptable what has happened here. You've indicated in your response there to Deputy Cassells that you expected, and the department expected, that when you pressed the button in December, everybody would be paid, and that you had the money allocated for that, but it turned out differently. Now, that isn't acceptable, Minister, that should have been the case. Surely, with proper preparation, these issues could have been highlighted in advance. And I know you've said today you do want to give a date as to when those that are outstanding to be paid will be paid, because you may not be able to stand over. Okay. But for those who haven't been paid yet, the case is that they were given a date which you haven't been able to stand over, as in last December. And I was just recently in a field, Minister, with bird cover, where the farmer has been had completed their action. It's working very well in terms of wild birds coming to use it, but that farmer still hasn't been paid in relation to the work that they have actually done. And as I say, many of those were actually expecting it last December, and now we're facing a wait of into the summer. So really there needs to be massive review, Minister, within the department as to how this came about, and as to how politically as well, in terms of management, Minister, this wasn't spotted in advance, and the proper resources and preparation put in place to actually deal with it.
Thank you.